All right, everybody. Welcome back. It's your boy DJ Kool-Aid. Back in the studio with another live interview with yours truly, Rod Best, out of Brisbane, Australia.
That's it.
That's it. How are you today, sir?
Thank you. Great to be in part of the program. Thank you.
Yeah, great to have you. Great to have you. Tell us about the journey. How's the journey been?
Yeah, the journey's been good. I mean, there's been some difficulties and setbacks, but overall, it's been great. I mean, I started off probably more in the area of rock piano, enjoyed that, and blues, and then have branched out into smooth jazz in 2015. From there on, started in classical piano when I was about 8. Used to drive my parents nuts because I'd wake up early in the morning at about 2 in the morning and go and start to practice piano, which they weren't too happy about. But I kept it up, and then I had a break during high school because I was fairly shy, and I was asked to play in front of the whole school assembly, and that put me off for a while. And then my wife encouraged me back into it when we got married, and started off on organ and then onto piano, and so it's been a journey all that way through. But I just love playing music. Just enjoy creating. That's the wonderful thing about it.
I can dig it. I can dig it. So, yeah. what are your likes about the industry?
Mainly, most people will cheer you on. Most people are there to support you, and the average musician is happy to collaborate with you, and so that's been great that way.
And what would you say? I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Yeah, I think that's the beauty of you don't come across too many musicians that feel they're too cool for school and they don't want to play. They're usually very good and want to join with you to play, which is great.
Right. And what would you say some of the dislikes about the industry?
The thing that I've found very difficult is the whole area of promotion and marketing. It's very hard to get your music out. There's not much point in writing or creating great music if no one hears it, and so that's been a challenge. I do all my own marketing, mainly because of the budget. I don't have much money to play with, and so a lot of the radio stations will make promises, but then you don't hear from them. Even a lot of the promoters in the, I put in a lot of songs in for TV, for radio, for all sorts of shows, and I'll get a contract, but then nothing happens with it, and so that's the disappointing thing. There's a lot of disappointments, but you just keep on pushing through. I mean, I keep on going, thinking, well, something's going to open up. There might be some good opportunities, and so that's the thing. I'm one that will stick at it and not give up, and so yeah.
Right on. Well, you're definitely being played on our radio station. We love playing you. Every Monday you can hear Rod Best right here on Side Radio.
Yeah, no, that's great. And I greatly appreciate that. It's really good.
Yeah, absolutely. No problem. What are your limits? Does Rod Best have any limitations?
The limit I have at the moment is I've had a few health issues. My age is a little bit of a limit. I'm not as young as I used to be, unfortunately. But I've at the moment I'm fairly wobbly, and so I find it hard to get up onto a stage, and which is a bit difficult. I've had a tumor in the back of my head, which I'm dealing with at the moment, and so that's affected my balance, and so it makes it a bit hard to walk straight and that sort of thing. But we push through. We just keep on going, and so It's meant, with COVID, and then coming into after that, because there weren't much venues operating at that time. I've been doing a lot of studio stuff, writing, recording a lot in the studio, and so I've been churning out quite a few songs because I haven't been doing too many gigs at all.
So COVID has not had an effect on you not being able to make music.
No, not at all. No.
Awesome. So what inspired you to do what you're doing?
Well, I grew up with a love for, after finishing classical piano, I grew up with a love for jazz, for blues, and one of my first album that I had was a Bob James, a Heads album. I used to get a whole lot of Bob James. I used to love Hubert Laws, some of these Earl Klug, some of these great players. I grew up listening to them. And so that inspired me to start writing my own stuff. And I actually had an amazing piano player that lived just down the road from me when I was in Sydney. Originally we're in Sydney, and so I started lessons with him. He was a guy called Tony Ansell. He was with a band called Galapagos Duck, and also the music director for the Channel 9 television station. And so I'd go and have lessons with him, and then I'd learned from a whole lot of some of the great Australian jazz pianists, and so that inspired me to start in 2015. I thought, well, I write so many songs, why can't I start to put some stuff down and record, and so that's what I've been doing since.
Right on. Well, Ron, our prayers are definitely going to be with you. And on a personal level, I can actually relate to your situation right now. I have a younger brother who, when we were growing up, had a tumor in his brain the size of a golf ball.
Right. Yeah.
I grew up having to help take care of him. So I truly can relate, and my prayers are truly with you.
Yeah, thank you so much. That's great.
Absolutely. So if given the opportunity, who in the industry would you like to work with, and why?
Well, I mean, one of my favorite bands is Foreplay, and so I'd love to work with Nathan East and Vinnie Colaiuta and some of these great players. Even another favorite band is Spyro Gyra. So Jay Beckenstein, Scott Ambush, some of those guys, if I had the opportunity, it would be great. I mean, that's where it's a little bit lacking here in Australia. We don't have a lot of the time we don't have the same caliber of amazing musicians as you do over there in the States, and especially in the area of jazz. And so not so many smooth jazz players. And so it's that's where it's a little bit limiting. And I mean, I've got a couple of some good muso friends that I sometimes get to play with, and we've got an access to a studio which we can record in. So, but a lot of the stuff I do at home here. Sometimes I get my brother, who's a guitarist, to join and play. And the last time we did the interview, a friend who was on with us at the time, Dan Gibney. Dan's a drummer. He's actually touring at the moment with the Elton John band, and so I get to sort of work with those guys, and so that's been good.
Right on. That is awesome. So I have to ask you, there's a message in the music. What message are you trying to send to your fans and followers through your music?
My message is mainly to the music would be uplifting, that it would bring joy, that it would bring peace to them, especially my instrumentals, that it would make them happy listening to it. And in the songs, the lyrics were the ones that I write vocally. I wanted to bring that message, that a positive message that, hey, there's hope. There's everything around is not all that gloomy. That they can have joy in their life and peace and happiness in spite of what might be going around them.
Right on. What are some of the obstacles you've had to overcome? Some of the challenges you've had to overcome on your journey for making music?
Some of the obstacles. I'm more of a player by ear. Need to, some of the sight reading. I need to develop that more. Guitar. I've played guitar and I've let it go. I need to sort of get back into that and sort of be able to use, because there's so many opportunities where I could use guitar and actually even put down a lot of my own guitar playing. And so I've actually started some lessons with a friend who's giving me some pointers to help me get back into that. And so that has been good. But again, the whole thing is promotion, marketing. I don't have a manager. And so I do it all myself, contact the radio stations myself. And so that's been a lot of work and quite difficult. So, I mean, if I had a manager, it would help a lot. But,
well, you mentioned, a lot of the jazz artists and musicians that are up and coming in my country here in America. Yeah. Let me just say this: you definitely stand out.
Oh, thank you. No, I appreciate that. That's encouraging.
Yeah. Keep doing what you're doing, man. Stay on the grind. You definitely stand out. And as far as I'm concerned, we should be hearing you on every jazz radio station in America and in the world, as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah, no, that's great. See, that's one of the obstacles, because I've tried to actually promote the music. It can cost up several $1,000s to actually get some of the people to promote it well, and that's the money I don't have, and so that's where it's been a challenge. But so I'm just grateful for whoever listens, and hope that my music will be a blessing to them and an encouragement to them.
Yeah, and you said you've worked, starting in, at the beginning of your journey, you worked with other type of genres. What type of genre out there today have you not had a chance to work with that you would love to work with if given the opportunity?
I mean, I've always loved blues. I love playing blues, and so I'd love to do more of that. I've started doing some. I mean, I've got into some other genres, a little bit of dance, EDM, a little bit of chill out, ambient. I've been doing some of those, but it's been more the smooth jazz area. So I'd like to develop some of those other genres more and put a lot more stuff out, in those particular genres as well, because there seems to be quite a following for chill out, especially even dance, EDM. It's quite a lot of people that love that type of music, and so I wanted to expand into that area as well.
Have you had a chance to, or have you even heard of hip hop jazz?
Yep, I have. Yeah.
You had a chance to hear that?
That's something too that I want to develop more. I've wanted to really develop further of that and start to write some tracks that have that real nice groove to it, and in those genres. That's something for the future.
Might I make a recommendation?
Yeah. I'm actually working on a project at the moment that I've just started. And so I'll look at adding a few of those tracks to it, I think.
My recommendation is reggaeton is a new genre of music. It's a new style. There is no reggaeton jazz yet.
Right. Okay.
Might be a way to go.
That sounds good. Yeah.
Rod, you answered all my questions. This was great. Only one last question for you. What do you want to say to your fans and followers right now at this moment?
I'd love you to follow me. You can look up my name on Spotify, on iTunes, on Deezer, on Amazon. Also, I've got a YouTube channel. If you look up Smooth Jazz Rod Best channel, you'll find me there. I've got a whole lot of videos there that I've done, and I would really appreciate you following me. And also, if there's any up and coming musicians out there that need some advice or need help with getting lead charts done and that sort of thing, providing I've got the time, I'm happy to help out.
And remember, you can also hear Rod Best, yours truly, right here on Music Mondays on Side Radio.
All right.
All right. Well, thank you very much for your time, Rod Best. This was fun. We definitely have to bring you back and do it again.
Yeah.
Next time, everybody.
Yeah. Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Side Radio. Really appreciate it.
No problem. Thank you. Keep doing what you're doing.
Yep, we will.
Bye.
Okay.